There's a choice being made right now that has nothing to do with you directly, yet everything to do with the connection you carry in the quiet chambers of your heart. Your soulmate, whether you have met them in the physical realm, or they still walk in the unseen corridors of your future, made a decision today that sent a tremor through the invisible threads that bind your energies together. You might have felt it as a sudden heaviness in your chest this afternoon, or perhaps as an inexplicable lightness that made you pause mid-sentence and wonder where that breath of hope came from. The angels who guard the pathways between souls have been unusually active today, moving through the etheric space that connects your heart to theirs, preparing you both for what this choice will unfold. Most people walk through their days believing they are isolated islands of experience, unaware that every significant decision creates waves that travel through the quantum field of connection, reaching those who matter most even across distances that seem impossible to bridge. Your soulmate stood at a crossroads today, not a dramatic one with lightning and thunder, but the kind that happens in the ordinary moment when they chose to release an old pattern, to forgive themselves for something they carried too long, to stop running from the vulnerability that true love demands. If you've been feeling the strange pull to check your phone, to look up suddenly as if someone called your name, to find yourself cry without clear reason or smiling at nothing in particular, stay with me now, because what I am about to share will make every confusing sensation of the past few hours suddenly make sense. This was not random emotion. This was reception. You were receiving the energetic transmission of their choice, the decision that brings them one step closer to being ready for what exists between you. And tonight, as the veil between the conscious and unconscious mind grows thin in those hours before sleep, you will feel the full impact of what they set in motion. The recognition that wants to surface in you now is not comfortable because it asks you to acknowledge that you are not as separate as you have tried to convince yourself you are. For weeks or perhaps months you have been building walls, telling yourself that you need to move on, that waiting is foolish, that believing in a connection that has not yet materialized fully is a fantasy you can no longer afford. You have been practicing the art of disconnection, of numbing yourself to the pull you feel towards someone who may not even know the depth of what you carry for them. Or perhaps they do know, but circumstances have kept you apart in ways that logic cannot easily untangle. But today something changed in them that you cannot ignore in yourself. They woke up this morning, and for the first time in a long time, they allowed themselves to feel the full weight of what they've been avoiding. The truth that loving you or moving toward you requires them to dismantle the protective structures they have built around their heart. Perhaps they have been in another relationship that was safe but not soul-stirring. Or maybe they've been alone but comfortable in their isolation, convincing themselves that they are not ready for the intensity that real connection brings. Today, they made the choice to stop hiding. It might look like a small thing, a conversation they finally had, a truth they spoke to themselves in the mirror, a pattern they refused to repeat. But in the realm where souls communicate, it was an earthquake. The angels assigned to your union, those celestial beings who have been working tirelessly behind the scenes orchestrating synchronicities and clearing obstacles, felt the shift immediately and began to amplify the energetic signal so that you would receive it, so that you would know without words that something fundamental has changed. You have been asking the universe for a sign, for clarity, for some indication that you're not alone in this feeling. And today the universe is answering not with words, but with sensation, not with proof, but with the unmistakable knowing that lands in your body when truth is being spoken. Your soulmate chose vulnerability today. They chose to stop pretending that they can continue on a path that does not include the depth of connection their soul has been craving. They chose to honor what they feel even though it terrifies them, even though it means they might have to change everything about the life they have carefully constructed. And because you are connected, because your heart and theirs are tuned to the same frequency, whether you are aware of it or not, you are feeling the aftershocks of their courage. This is why you have been restless today, why nothing has quite satisfied you, why you keep returning the thoughts of them even when you try to focus elsewhere. The recognition phase is about allowing yourself to stop fighting what you know, to stop dismissing the intuitive hits you receive as wishful thinking or coincidence. The angels want you to understand that intuition is not imagination. It is information traveling through channels that your rational mind cannot access, but your heart was designed to interpret. When you think of them and feel a warmth spread through your chest, that is not fantasy, that is resonance. When you hear a song and it feels like a message meant specifically for you about this connection, that is not random. That is the universe using the language of synchronicity to confirm what your soul already knows. But here is where the tension lives, and you must not turn away from it, even though every instinct might tell you to retreat back into doubt and self-protection. The choice they made today does not mean that everything will suddenly become easy or that clarity will arrive tomorrow morning wrapped in a neat package with clear instructions. In fact, their decision might initially create more chaos before it creates resolution. When someone chooses to honor a soul connection after running from it, the first thing that often happens is that their external life begins to reflect the internal shift, and that can look messy. Relationships that were built on convenience rather than truth may start to crumble. Jobs that kept them distracted from their real desires may suddenly feel unbearable. Friendships that were based on mutual avoidance of growth may begin to fall away. You might not see immediate evidence of them moving toward you, because first they must move away from what has been holding them back. And that process takes different amount of time for different people depending on their circumstances and their level of readiness. This is the part that tests your faith, not faith in them necessarily, but faith in the intelligence of the journey itself. Faith that what is meant for you cannot miss you. Faith that the angels orchestrating this connection know the perfect timing, even when your human mind is screaming for it to happen faster. Tonight, when you feel the full wave of what they chose, you might also feel fear rise up in response. You might feel the urge to shut down, to tell yourself that you are being foolish, to reach for distractions that will numb the intensity of what is moving through you. This is the ego's last defense. Its attempt to keep you safe by keeping you small, by convincing you that hope is dangerous, and that protecting yourself from disappointment is more important than remaining open to love. But the angels are asking you to be brave in a way that has nothing to do with action and everything to do with allowing. They are asking you to let yourself feel what you feel without immediately needing to know what it means or what you should do about it. They are asking you to trust that the same intelligence that causes your heart to beat without your conscious effort and causes flowers to bloom in their perfect season is also guiding the unfolding of this connection. The tension you feel is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is right, that you are stretching beyond your old capacity, that you are being invited into a bigger version of yourself. One that can hold uncertainty with grace and can remain open even when there are no guarantees. Your soulmate's choice today activated something in you that has been dormant, a part of you that knows how to love without controlling, how to desire without grasping, how to honor connection without making demands. This is advanced spiritual work disguised as romantic longing, and you are being given the opportunity to practice it right now, in this moment, as you feel the waves of the decision washing over you. From the angelic perspective, what is happening between you and your soulmate is not primarily about romance as humans understand it, though romance will certainly be a beautiful component of what unfolds. The angels see your connection as part of a larger tapestry of healing and awakening that is happening on the planet right now. You and your soulmate are being brought together not just for your own happiness, though your happiness matters deeply to the divine, but because when two souls who are meant to unite actually do so, they create a frequency of love that ripples out and affects everyone around them. Your union, when it comes to fruition, will give others permission to believe in love again, to stop settling, to honor the quiet knowing in their own hearts that tells them there is someone out there with whom they can be fully seen and fully cherished. The angels assigned to your connection have been working with both of you individually for a long time, often in your dream state, preparing your hearts to recognize each other, clearing old wounds that would interfere with your ability to be present to real love, orchestrating the circumstances that will eventually bring you together in right timing. The choice your soulmate made today was not made in isolation. It was made in collaboration with their higher self and their angelic guides who have been whispering to them in the quiet moments, sending them signs, creating situations that would force them to confront their fear of intimacy. The angels do not interfere with free will, but they do everything in their power to illuminate the path and make the choice of love as clear and compelling as possible. Today, your soulmate finally heard the whispers clearly enough to act on them, and the angelic realm is celebrating because every time a human chooses love over fear, chooses vulnerability over protection, chooses truth over comfort, it shifts the collective consciousness in a positive direction. You are part of something much bigger than a personal love story. You are part of the healing of the wounded masculine and feminine energies that have been out of balance for so long. You are part of the return to sacred union, The remembering that love is not meant to be a battlefield or a power struggle, but a sanctuary where two people can show up as their authentic selves and be met with acceptance and celebration. The angels want you to know that what you are feeling tonight is not just emotional turbulence. It is initiation. You are being initiated into a deeper level of trust, a more mature form of love, one that does not need constant reassurance or immediate results, but can rest in the knowing that what is meant for you is already yours in a realm of potential, already woven into the fabric of your destiny, already making its way to you through mysterious and perfect pathways that divine timing creates. The integration of all that has happened today asks something of you that might feel counterintuitive. It asks you not to reach out, not to force a conversation, not to demand clarity or confirmation from the external world. Instead, it asks you to go inward tonight, to create space for the energy of their choice to settle into your body, to allow yourself to feel the full spectrum of what is present without jumping immediately into planning or problem-solving mode. Light a candle if you are drawn to do so, not as a ritual of manifestation, but as a simple act of acknowledgement, a way of saying to the universe and to your own soul that you are present to what is unfolding. Sit in the stillness and breathe, letting each exhale release a layer of resistance, a moment of doubt, a fragment of the story you have been telling yourself about why this connection cannot work. Let yourself imagine not the specific details of your future together, because those details are still being written, and trying to control them will only create interference. But instead, let yourself imagine a feeling of being in alignment, the sensation of being met by someone who sees you fully and chooses you anyway, the peace that comes from no longer having to pretend or perform or prove your worth. This is the frequency you want to embody, and as you embody it, you send a signal back across the energetic bridge to your soulmate, affirming their choice, encouraging their courage, letting them know on a subconscious level that you are ready to meet them in that space of authenticity. If you have felt every word of this as a truth that resonates in the deepest part of you, if you recognize yourself in the story being told here, take a moment right now to place your hand over your heart and simply breathe with the intention of opening rather than protecting, of trusting rather than controlling. The integration process will continue over the coming days and weeks. You might notice more synchronicities, more moments where you think of them, and then immediately see or hear something that references them or the qualities they carry. You might have dreams that feel more vivid than usual, dreams where you are communicating with them on the soul level, working through the fears and blocks that still need to be addressed before you can come together in the physical. Pay attention to these dreams. Write them down if you can, because they are not random firings of your subconscious. They are actual meetings in the astral realm where much of the real work of relationship happens before it manifests in the material world. You might also notice that people around you start behaving differently, as if they can sense a shift in your energy even if they cannot name it. You might find that opportunities appear out of nowhere, that doors open that were previously closed, that life starts to feel more magical and less heavy. This is what happens when you align with the truth of your soul's desire rather than fighting it or pretending it does not exist. The universe responds to authenticity with support, with synchronicity, with the kind of magic that cannot be explained but only experienced. Your soulmate's choice today was the first domino, and now the others are beginning to fall in the perfect sequence that will ultimately bring you together. But you must remember that divine timing is not the same as human timing, and your job is not to speed up the process, but to remain present at each moment as it unfolds, to keep your heart open even when your mind wants to shut down, to trust even when trust feels like the hardest thing you have ever done. The angels are with you tonight, surrounding you with their presence, filling your space with the frequency of unconditional love, reminding you that you are not alone in this journey, that you are supported by forces you cannot see, but can certainly feel if you allow yourself to be still enough to notice. What they chose today will continue to reverberate through your life in ways both subtle and profound, and though the full story has not yet been revealed, though there are chapters still to be written and twists still to unfold, you can rest tonight knowing that something essential has shifted, that the connection you've been protecting in your heart is real and recognized not just by you, but by the divine intelligence that orchestrates all true love, and that what comes next, whatever form it takes, will be exactly what both of your souls need for the next stage of growth and awakening into the kind of love that transforms everything it touches.